and she's feeling fine. So what do I say? I don't know. Doing well.
Oh, good.
I was tested and I'm still negative. So hopefully it'll stay that way. That's crazy, but whatever.
Well, you guys are, oh, here's Brian. He popped in. You guys are like champions. Like, I think after all this is over, you're going to probably run the Ironman competition or something, you know?
We might crawl to the finish line.
That's right. You might be like Jackie Rust and do the 100 miles or something, because you guys are just amazingly strong. I mean, it doesn't matter what's thrown at you. You just bing, bing. We're going to start putting some, you know, the bionic effects of the bionic man and the bionic woman. We're going to like make those sound effects every time you move. Well, we'll be praying for her for sure, and for you. That's something, God, I mean, that's something you worked so hard all year to be safe from, to keep that from happening.
And
how do you think that happened?
Somehow.
Well, she's been seeing a lot of doctors and stuff, right? And
yeah, going here and there, visiting, whatever.
Is she blaming you or?
Hasn't yet.
Oh God, I tell you, my heart just hurts. I want all this over, you know, obviously, you know, but man, oh yeah, well, we'll definitely be praying. Carlos, it's so good to see you. Obviously, continue to hold up Carlos and his family. I mean, we all know what devastating loss they suffered over the holidays with losing both their, his wife losing both her parents. And so, you know, it's a process, you know, and grieving is a process. And when you lose like that, I mean, it's a journey. So let's just continue to rally behind them and support them. I heard Carlos loves gummy bears. So if you want to just keep giving him gummy bears, I think Denise gave him a year's supply, but you know.
No, they're done.
He needs more, everyone.
They both ate them.
Oh dear, he needs more. Oh wow, and that was a lot. Well, you know, like I said, grieving is a process. So
It's a process.
Yeah.
I get it. Well, we are so happy to see you, and
We're not individually wrapped.
just know that our hearts are definitely with you and your family. So with that, we'll switch gears over to our happy thoughts. You know the drill. PayPal would love to get your donation, or Jennifer, who's sitting right there, would love to snatch it from your purses and your pockets. At PayPal, it's 380rotary@gmail.com. You can put any dollar amount you would like to offer. All the proceeds go to the family of Rotary, where our lovely Denise takes care of us. So I'll go ahead and
has to be in a jar.
That's right. I'll go ahead and start it out with the happy thought. He's jabbing, Michael. He says you need a haircut. Is that his happy thought? Michael is.
If you're gonna be happy about me getting a haircut, you're still gonna be waiting a while.
Michael's embracing his Rico Suave. Okay. I'm actually
pretty darn funny.
Maybe a dinner impersonator.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
That's my happy thought.
What did you say, Hugh?
I said that was my happy thought. I'll contribute to a haircut.
Look at him. He's like, oh, I'm going to get you for that one.
Hey, Ashley, Rico Suave was a very popular musician in the 90s. I don't know.
I'm not that young of a millennial, Jeff.
Oh my God.
That's hilarious. Yeah. Okay.
I know who Rico Suave is. But I appreciate you getting my back. Thank you.
I just trying to help.
I appreciate it.
Okay, so I'm just really excited. I got news this week from our wonderful carpenter, Dustin Henson, that our libraries are done. Oh my gosh, I almost had a mini heart attack. And so the next step obviously is that we need them painted. And so please let me know. Carlos is going to, oh, okay. All right, Hugh Coleman, okay. So anyway, if you're interested in it, I know Carlos is going to help me get those from Dustin's house. I know Carlos has already purchased one. Ashley has purchased one. So we're giving you guys opportunities. If you wanted to paint them yourselves, you can. If not, you know, we are seeking the club to see if we have any volunteers that'd be willing to do it. These are beauties, you know, little treasures. And I absolutely am so glad that we may be getting these in the ground this month, you know. So very excited about that. Carrie, I'm going to talk to you about that. So just know that today after the meeting, I'm going to ping you. All right. So that's my happy thought.
Okay, I had a different one, but now I'm going to go with, I'm happy that my hair is as thick as when I was in high school.
Oh. I think Michael felt a little burn.
You should now get a man bun. You can just go.
My
full
original happy thought was, I'm happy we have 50 channels so I can watch anything I want this week.
Oh, Hugh Coleman loved it. All right. All right. Does anyone else have a happy thought they'd like to share?
Who wants to start us off in here? Carlos is not going to start us off. Jeff, you want to start us off?
Carlos is happy for his breakfast. Yes.
Yeah, so Avery, my Baylor college student, got COVID and her roommate. So, but we haven't been around her. She lives apart from us. So she's been isolating since she got it. So anyway, she was fine. She 3 days had bad cold. It was not a problem at all. But so anyway, that was just, it was a little, you know, we were just a little nervous about it because it was actually somebody that we knew that got it. So she's fine. So that was our happy thought. She got it. She's good. Now she's like, I guess, I don't know if she's, I still don't really know if she's like, you know, does that mean that she's doesn't have to worry about it now? Or she still have to get a vaccine? I don't know.
For about 7 days.
Yeah. So we'll still, and I don't know if they're going to get vaccines because they're doing clinicals, so they may get a vaccine at some point. But you know, she's not in a high risk area, so I don't know. So we'll see how that goes. But that was our happy thought.
Awesome. Anybody else?
So my happy thought was Brandon competed in his very first wrestling competition last Saturday. So we were super excited. He rocked it in a woman's singlet.
Yeah. That's awesome.
They accidentally gave him a woman's.
Oh, I thought you were joking.
No, he like legit rocked that. So my 16-year-old boy competed in a woman's singlet, and he won the first two, and then he had 2 learning experiences, is what I'm told.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Wow. I'm very curious.
Is it a high school thing or is it a?
So this one was outside of his high school. So it's his first year in high school wrestling, and this team for the high school has not yet competed. But he also goes to a wrestling class at his jiu-jitsu studio. They didn't have wrestling. So like he goes there and he goes from 5 o'clock, he does the leadership program and teaches the little kids jiu-jitsu. Then he takes his own jiu-jitsu class, and then he takes his wrestling class. And then I pick him up and he's just a bucket of sweat. It looks like water, but it's not. And he doesn't smell pretty, and we drive the 20 minutes home.
What weight class is he in?
He actually cut down to 120 because he didn't want to wrestle his friend that was at the 126 or 125 or whatever. So he cut down to 120.
Okay.
What is that, like ultra flyweight or what do they call
Trying
it?
to get down to about that myself.
Really fair.
Ultra supreme flyweight.
And
That's impressive.
They were all flexing.
All right. Does anyone else have one they'd like to share? That's an awesome one.
Yes, I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be, glad to be back in the swing of things, with my friends, people that I know and love, and back to a little bit of normalcy. It's been a bit of a whirlwind lately, and so it's good to be back.
We're so happy to have you back. Yes.
Yes, for sure. Your own team teddy bear. We need you. That's probably inappropriate. Sorry. Sorry about that.
So it's not because we're us or Denise.
No.
All right. So does anyone else have a happy thought?
Stand in the ranking.
Brad, do you have a happy thought to share?
I don't, because I didn't know we were supposed to come with a happy thought. So,
It's okay. It's okay. All right, we'll move on. But if anyone does, just let us know.
I have one, just real quick. I just wanted to say how happy I am to have a room full, to have, everyone online. It kind of seems like after the first of the year and all that, we're all kind of coming together. And I just want to say thank you for putting me in a position and with people, letting me do things that I love to do, because I'm looking at that happy jar right there, and we just got a pretty nice contribution from someone. And I love gifting and loving on people and all of that. I mean, it's my passion. It's what I like to do. And that's when sometimes Brad's like, when are you coming home? And it's just like, that's just what I like. It just relaxes me. It's what I like. So I'm just grateful for all of y'all in Rotary. Thank you.
Well, you know what? Obviously, Denise is an angel because she's sweet in pain and not in pain. So we love you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so just quick reminder about Sweet Support. As always, share this, tell your family members, tell your friends, tell people that are, really wanting to help our first responders. This is a great way to show some love and support our club. Okay, so real quick, I wanted to give you guys this update before we get the Kieslings up here. Jessica Dunn and I attended the meeting that was held yesterday with Denton County Judge Andy Eads and our past district governor, Gerald Robinson, about the COVID project. It was actually really, really insightful. And Jessica, keep me on my toes, make sure I didn't forget anything. But the gist of it is that the volunteer opportunities, well, first, let me just say in Denton County, and Hugh Coleman, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought he said there was about 900,000 residents in Denton County. It's a lot of people, and they're hoping to get, everyone inoculated. And so 10,000 so far has been done. So we've, Denton County has been able to give 10,000 vaccinations so far as of yesterday. That being said, though, how this vaccination works. It's a twofold. You got to wait about 3 weeks, and then you got to go back in and get another one. So what they're asking for is anybody that would like to volunteer to go through the Denton County Medical Corps Reserve and register. That's how you'll get to be selected as a volunteer. You don't just walk up and go, I'm Rotary, I'm here. You actually got to go through that, because that way you got to go through like a little mini training. I think they're doing it online. And then the Corps Reserve will contact you and let you know, the date and the time, see if you're available to volunteer. So what they're needing is parking lot greeters, flaggers in the parking lot, people that can, make sure, because as the cars are coming through, each person getting a shot has to sign a waiver. So someone needs to be standing there with a clipboard and making sure that's done as well. So that's what they're saying right now is the big, heavy load that has to go through the Denton County Medical Corps Reserve. You can't do that without going through that. Now I brought up, because I love to eat, and so I brought up the suggestion, what about the volunteers and the staff that has been working crazy hours? I mean, the staff members have to do their own job and they're doing this. So they are just nonstop, night and day working. You can imagine, I think one of the events, they had 3,000 people come through to get vaccinated. And so you just imagine you probably don't get any kind of break. So I thought, well, who feeds them? They've got to eat, because I love to eat. So that's obviously what I'm thinking about. And they love that idea. And so they are currently working on seeing about a hospitality venue or hospitality opportunity where clubs can help contribute toward food, which I thought, guys, we're the best at. We are the best at hospitality. This would not require us going through the Denton County Medical Corps Reserve. This would literally us be ordering food and having sent over. And I think that's something budget-wise, we could talk about it. We could figure out, what that's going to look like once we get more details. But I think there are about 20 volunteers each time. And so I know other clubs can get involved as well. But I think this is such a great and cool opportunity, where we can have like sandwiches, or maybe Angela, the one that's been catering for us, she's got incredible, box lunches. She can get that, over there. Yeah, right. And so then, Michael was even talking about like bananas are great snacks, or like little fruit bars or protein bars, things like that, because, people want to keep their energy up. And, the best way to, what is it, the best army or they march on their bellies, something like that, the saying goes. So, you gotta keep the energy going and keep the momentum going. I think we could really shine in this area and still stay safe in the sense that we're not out there. But if you wanted to get some action and you wanted to be out there in the trenches with it, this is a great opportunity. Another one is something that they need is people to help set up and tear down. So if there's anybody that's willing to do that, they need that as well. Judge Eads did say it was actually pretty emotional to see people in tears as they're getting their shot, not out of pain, but just out of complete relief. They were so grateful to get this. So anyway, I don't want to take up too much time, but if you are interested in this, or if you have ideas around this, please let me know. I'm definitely going to be exploring the hospitality idea with our club as soon as we get more information. Jessica, am I missing anything? Did I?
No, it was very interesting because the Denton County Medical Corps Reserve training is about 2 hours. And so once you do that, you can also be deployed for other things. If, heavens forbid, something else happens in Denton County, you're in the system and trained. But like they said that they have 110,000 people that are registered to get the vaccine in Denton County. So they're really looking to ramp everything up. So they're trying to put all these plans in place and get a couple of different sites going so they can get as many people as possible vaccinated. Or wait, do you say vaccinated if it's humans and not animals? I don't know if that's the right word. I don't know. Vaccine, getting the vaccine.
Yes.
On that, but and then that way they can try to get, once they keep getting the supplies, they have the people on the list and get everybody going. And so, no, I think it was very interesting.
Yes, absolutely. That was really cool. And for Ashley, for you, they are going to create, the county is going to create a video and produce some media around how we can message this out. And so more to come for you when it comes to sharing those things on our social media pages.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. An army travels on its stomach. Thank you. All right. So
quick stomach works too. That was a good analogy you said.
Awesome. Okay, so just a quick reminder, Denise actually created a beautiful little box for the winter clothing drive. It's through the end of this month. Please don't forget to go through your closets, go through your, see if there's winter clothing items that we can donate to Souls for Salvation, and shoes as well. They'll gladly accept it. So she's created a beautiful little box right there at the agency. So just feel free to drop it off. Or you can just order something on Amazon and have it shipped over. That's what we did. So that was really convenient. Next month, we're going to hear from our Denton County Friends of Family. They're going to be sharing with us what some of their current needs are and their initiatives and what they've been working on. So more to come on that. And now it brings us to the top where we are introducing our wonderful friends. We're so excited. Jeff, I'll let you take it away and give a nice introduction.
Yeah, I got to introduce you. I'm the chair, so, listen, I mean, I feel like, it's a different group. All right, so I feel like we don't even need an introduction for these folks, but, they're very instrumental folks to our group, to Rotary. You know, you guys stepped up when we needed a place. I mean, all the things that you guys have done, we so appreciate you guys. I think everybody knows, who you are and what you guys stand for, but we wanted to give you guys some time to talk a little bit about your passion. I appreciate you guys. I'm super excited that you guys are part of Rotary, and you guys take it away.
Yeah.
Well, we really appreciate, you know, having an opportunity to talk to y'all and a little bit more in depth about what we do have to offer. Now, for a lot of y'all, particularly the y'all that are watching on Zoom there, you probably haven't seen me around. Of course, you got my lovely wife. She's, you know, here all the time, but it's just a little too early for me. So I'd like to make a nomination that we move the meeting back to maybe lunch or something.
Oh, yeah.
My second.
But what, you know, kind of do the setup of the room, I want to apologize to the people on Zoom because you won't see me. Of course, that might be a benefit to you all, but just I have to sit off to the side so I can work my slide presentation. So give me a minute here so I can get this up.
All right, I went ahead and stopped sharing mine so that it's all yours, Brad.
Let's see. Not that one. We'll go to this one.
There we go.
All right, so can you all see it?
Yes.
All right, so let's get going here. So. It's coming. Yeah, just it takes a second here for it to show up here. So, but no, you know, we really appreciate, you know, really y'all accepting us. You know, when we put our agency together and we were looking at where to kind of put it, you know, we wanted to be an area that we just felt there was going to be tremendous growth, you know, not only right now, but really in the for the long term. And so, you know, I just had a vision of coming up here on 380. Denise was like, what are you doing? That's so far away. But, you know, I just had this vision to be up here. And I had no idea that we would, you know, come across, you know, friends and now becoming family, not only the people that we work with. You know, Shelby here has joined us. She helped us start our agency. And but then just, you know, being part of the Rotary Club here and some of the other activities that we participate in. So we're hoping to be able to move up here to be a lot closer to you all here in a few years once our youngest graduates. So, but we really appreciate it.
Oh, woo!
Yep. So, but you know, what I was going to do here is, you know, I really kind of, you know, wanted to talk more about our agency and kind of go over three things. You know, the first is just a little bit more in-depth introduction to who we are. I know some of y'all know our story. Some of y'all online might not know our story. You know, I want to talk a little bit about farmers and why we chose to go with farmers versus any other agency out there. And then I wanted to talk about, you know, why you might want to have an agent. You know, a lot of people want to do things online. They think, hey, I'm getting the best deal out there. I'm getting it cheap, but they don't really understand their coverages. So I want to talk a little bit about why you want to have an agency or have an agent. Then also give you some examples along that line. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to you know, let me know, and you know, you can stop me whenever. And then when I'm done, Denise is going to talk a little bit about what we're doing, you know, with our kindness revolution and some of the other things that we're doing in the neighborhood here. And bear with me here, Denise is taking a picture, so I'm freezing up.
Sorry.
All right. So, anyways, so I'm going to start it out here.
Natural.
Yes. Thank you. So I'm going to start it out here with a little video. Let's see if I can get this to work. Hopefully you'll be able to see it online.
You just want to make sure you're sharing that screen. If it's on a separate screen from.
Oh, is it not? You can't see it?
Yeah. So just stop it for a second.
Yeah.
Well, all right, just a minute here.
Just stop it for a second. Stop it.
I'm trying. Okay, there we go. Now, how do I share this one?
So just stop sharing and then share that particular, if it's Chrome or wherever your.
So just go back to the desktop.
Yeah, go back to your little bar
All right. So, and as you will find, I am not the most technically oriented person out there. I was really just pleased that I was able to embed a YouTube video into a PowerPoint slide, and it works on our end. Unfortunately.
Okay, now
I
share.
want to
Now go ahead and-
apologize for our technical difficulties.
That's fine. So then click the YouTube. There we go.
Okay, so let's go.
Perfect.
All right, just a minute. We got to get back to the beginning here. Here we go. Just leave it here. It plays it over twice. Can you all see it?
Yep.
All right.
That's a lot of trees.
Yeah.
We covered it, February 3rd, 2016.
There we go.
Talk to farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two. We are farmers.
All right, so, I just like to show, you've probably all seen our commercials out here. That's one of the ones I love the most there. So, so now, how do I get back?
Just like you did. Stop sharing and then select your PowerPoint.
All right.
You're doing it.
This
You're doing
thing
it.
here. All right, here we go. I'm there now.
You sure? Okay.
Okay, can you see it?
Yes. Meet the Kiesling.
All right, meet the Kiesling. So this is my first section here. So just wanted to introduce ourselves, and the most important picture there I put right in the middle, as we are part of the Steeler Nation. So just wanted to emphasize that there. So
Very disappointing season.
disappointing ending. So, but we still made the playoffs. So although that's not saying much. Anyways, so. I throw that up there and I like to talk about it because, I just want to introduce you a little bit to myself. I know a lot of y'all, know Denise because she comes to a lot of the meetings, everything along that line. So myself, I when I was younger, I moved about every 2 to 3 years of my life. I lived up north, down south. I lived in Australia when I was a kid. But, I kind of consider Pittsburgh home because my dad's company was headquartered there as he moved up the ladder. And so, I moved in and out of Pittsburgh a number of times, although I've been down here since 1994. So I probably ought to call Dallas home, but I just can't become a Cowboys fan. Sorry, guys. So just can't do that. So, so I came down here in 1994. Before we started our agency, I spent almost 30 years in the financial services industry. I worked for a handful of different investment companies and insurance companies. And I was a representative for them. It's called a wholesaler. Jeff knows that. But I would go out to financial advisors and show them how our solutions work, the type of people that they were positioned for, and had a tremendous time. I learned a lot about working with people, what was important to people, and not just the financial advisors, but really the end users. All of us. What's important to us? With regards to our investment, our savings. What needs to be protected, and it was a tremendous experience. I did a lot of flying, I did a lot of driving, and eventually just kind of burned out. And, over the years, I've always been looking to own a business and start a business. And so I think it was just God's will at this point in time. It was time to go ahead and do that, and during this time, Denise has been just a tremendous, the better half of me here and everything along that line. But, Denise, she is an accountant by trade and, is a CPA. But when we started having kids, she stayed home and just because I traveled a lot. But what she also did is she did a lot of charitable work. She was on a lot of boards. She actually started a number of charities, but also too, she started a very successful home-based business for a number of years, her 31 Gifts. And so, she did a lot of that. And so as our kids got older, we decided, we really want to have our own business. And we started looking at different businesses. And, the two things that were really important to us is we wanted something that we could help people and we wanted to make a difference. And so, I was looking at some different things besides the insurance agency route. And a few years ago, I was working for Allstate as one of their financial advisors. And Denise is like, look, you like this, you like dealing with people. Why don't you look at an agency? And so that kind of got us down this route. So That's a little bit about us. We have 3 kids, Colin, Corinne, and Claire. I did turn them into Steeler fans. So, that's great along that line. But, I also wanted to put, some of our friends here. So, we got Carlos and Jennifer and Dwayne over here. And this little picture over here with Dwayne, it's not because he smelled or anything like that. We were doing a donation and, we were just socially distancing there. So I just wanted to put that there in case there was any problems. And then the last part of our family is our little dog, Chloe. And so I figured I'd throw that in there because of the commercial I ran for you guys. So, but as I started looking at different companies to start my agency, one of the things I wanted to look for was something that, a big company, I wanted to be with a reputable company out there. So what I really started doing is I started looking at the big 3 companies, State Farm, Allstate, and Farmers. And as I started talking to the different organizations and actually really talking to some agents in those organizations, I came to realize Allstate's not really where I want to be. State Farm didn't, their setup isn't what I wanted to be because you don't own your own business. It's almost kind of like Chick-fil-A, you're kind of renting it out from the company. But what I really liked is I liked Farmers. I liked, who the company was. I liked their reputation. But more importantly, I liked the district that we were in. And that was really important. The support that we've been getting from our district leaders has been tremendous. And so that really kind of sold me on wanting to get together with Farmers. So, you've seen the commercials out there, you've heard of Farmers Insurance, but really who are we? So I just wanted to throw this out here. Farmers has over 90 years of experience in the industry. We're one of the oldest insurance, property and casualty insurance companies in the industry. We got over 11,000 agents. And we cover over 38 states. So, we're not in every state out there. All states, State Farmers, we're not. We were very selective in the states that we're in just because of the risk. I think that's important because while each state, is kind of, we do our own thing per state, it's still a big company out there. And if there's certain states, I'll give you an example, Louisiana. We're not in Louisiana because of the hurricane risk and they don't have enough people to spread that out. Well, you know what? If there's a lot of liability, a lot of damage there, that could affect the overall company behind the scenes. And so we're very selective in the states that we go in. We have over 15 million individual policies. We're one of the top 10 property and casualty companies in the industry. But the other thing, and this was important to me because when I first started in business, I started out in customer service. So, service is very important. That's what I try to instill within my agency. And so you can see up here, our 24/7 award-winning claims service department. Everyone says that, every company's going to say that out there. So I wanted to share something and hopefully I'm going to share this magazine here. If you're all familiar with Kiplinger's. So I don't know if you're familiar with Kiplinger's, it's just one of the financial magazines out there, but this is their December issue. And what they did is they came out with their very first financial customer service awards. And this is the first year they did it. And one of the categories was for insurance companies. And what they do is they rate, the top company is gold, and you have silver and you have bronze. Well, the gold company for home and auto insuring is Farmers Insurance. So, just to kind of put that in perspective, the silver was Geico and the bronze was USAA. So, but this is just a recent, I think, affirmation of our award-winning service out there. So I wanted to make sure that I got that out there, but that was really important. That drew me over to Farmers as well. But along that line, the other thing that drew me over here is the breadth of product and solutions that we can offer. A lot of times you think about the property and casualty company, State Farm, Farmers, Allstate, we think auto and we think home. But, it's a lot more than that because, we got the home, we got the auto. We have a tremendous renters product for people who are renting. We have the solutions for your toys, make sure your boat, your RV, your motorcycle, make sure that that's covered. We have a broad selection of solutions for business owners. And I'm going to talk about some of these here in just a minute and give you kind of some examples on why an agent is really important to have. But we also offer a wide selection of life insurance solutions, and we can also offer some basic financial planning solutions. I can do that. I don't really focus on that part of my business, but I am able to do that. But also too, I like to partner with someone like Jeff out there because he's got a lot more tools and a lot more planning available to you out there. So, but again, what I like about Farmers is we got a broad selection of products and solutions out there. And the nice thing too, and the other thing that drew me over to Farmers is if we can't handle a case, we can't, we just don't have the insurance for it. We do have the ability to go outside of Farmers to do that as well. Typically that's more on the business side, but one area, particularly up in this area, are ranches. Depending on what the ranch does, Farmers just might not have the solution to meet that need. And we do have the ability to be able to go outside and look at other insurance companies to help that person with their ranch. So that's one of the big draws that drew me over to Farmers. So real quickly, any questions about Farmers?
What is habitational?
So Denise asked that one too. That's habitational is, let's say you have rental properties. But what's interesting about rental properties is you have insurance if it's being rented, and then you have insurance when you're waiting to get it rented. So, because again, it might be months before it gets, so it's vacant out there, and you got to have some coverage there for vandalism or if anything happens along that line, liability and everything like that. And so, that kind of falls under habitational. We can help you out with that as well. So, again, someone might have 5 or 6 rental properties, 2 of them are just, they're waiting to turn it over. We can help you because it's vacant. You have to have a special policy designed for that. So we can help you with that. Anyone online with any questions so far?
Yeah. What is umbrella?
You know what? That's a good question. So what's an umbrella? So I'm going to talk a little bit more about that for you, Carrie. But basically what happens is you think about, you have your auto insurance and then you have your home insurance, and you're going to have certain limits, let's talk about your auto. You're going to have certain liability limits in case you're in an accident to help take care of the other person, in case they're injured, to take care of their medical needs, take care of, pain and suffering. If you get sued along that line, you're going to have certain limits. Well, if the injuries are big enough, guess what? Your policy might not have enough money that's, in your liability limit to cover that. Well, what happens then is, guess what? You have to pay for that on your own. That's going to come out of your savings. It's going to come out of your investments. It could potentially come out of, your future income. And so what you can do is you can buy what's called an umbrella policy. And what that does is, and you can't see my hands, but what that does is it provides a liability above and beyond your auto limits, and you can have that anywhere from $1 million to as much as $10 million above and beyond. And it's really it's a great solution for people who have young drivers because, they're not as experienced out there and they can get into a lot of accidents. If you have a pool, you have other toys, the motorcycles, the RVs, the boats, the jet skis. It's really a good solution to have on top of your other policies to make sure that, God forbid, if something were to happen, that, you're taking, not only are they taken care of financially, but it's not going to devastate you as well. So that's a very good question. So let me do this then. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to transition over now. And I want to talk about, why you might need an agent, and I'd like to talk about this because over the last year and a half, as I've been talking to people and fielding phone calls, you get a lot of people who think they can do it on their own. And maybe they can, but what I found is they have kind of this attitude that I'm gaming the system. I'm gaming the insurance industry because I'm getting it cheap. I'm getting it really cheap out there. What they don't realize is they don't understand how that insurance is going to work. They have no idea what type of liability they have until they have that accident. And unfortunately, at that point in time, it's too late. We have a saying in the industry, there is no tomorrow in insurance. If something happens today, you can't come in tomorrow and say, oh, hey, I need to have this added to my policy to make sure I'm covered. I mean, it's too late to do that out there. And so as an agent, our job is to make sure that you have that proper coverage and try to figure out every kind of possible angle that we can. I mean, you never know what's going to happen out there, but we want to try to provide the best protection that we can out there. And one of the things I always like to look at as an agent is we're really one of your most trusted advisors. So if you think about it, think about your trusted advisors. You got your doctor, they're there to help you out, with any medical issues and situations along that line. You got your financial advisor like Jeff's to help you out with your savings, your retirement and making sure you have the income throughout retirement. You have your lawyer to help you out there with your, legal needs. And we're really there to protect you. And, we're one of your most important ones out there because if something, God forbid, something were to happen and we can't protect you, then guess what? The money goes out from the financial advisor. You're spending a lot of money on those attorneys out there. And you're probably going to the doctor a lot because you're probably having, anxiety and everything along that line. So, but we're really out there, really there to protect you. So I want to have a little participation from the audience right now. So this is my little participation. So let me ask you this. Why do you think people need insurance? So think about, why do you think people think they need insurance?
To cover risk.
Cover risk?
Yeah.
You're legally obligated.
Yeah.
Legally obligated? Yeah. There's a lot of, protection. There's a lot of different ways. Let me kind of show the top 3 reasons. So I was in a training yesterday and they went over this for us here. So one of the big reasons is the lender is making me have it. You know what? I'm getting a new home and I got to have that insurance. And so what do they think? They have no idea what is in their policy they're getting. But, a lot of people are sitting there saying, you know what? I got to get my payment to X. I got my mortgage payments over here. So I got to make sure my insurance keeps me at that mark. And so guess what? You got a lot of agencies out there and a lot of agents say, hey, I'll do it for you. I'll give you the bare basic minimum just to make sure you get to whatever you need for that insurance payment. And Shelby, we're on our head because we come across this a lot of times and people say, nope, I got to go that route. And unfortunately, they're not going to realize what they have until they have to use it. And let's hope they never have to. But guess what? Here in North Texas, they're going to have to use it. So, that's a big issue. So, but again, people think, the lender's making me have it. So I want to get the cheapest thing possible, and I have no idea what the numbers mean. Jeff, you got the second one here. The law says I need to have it. You know what? When it comes to auto insurance, you're required to have a minimum coverage of liability and property damage. And I'll go over that here in just a minute. But the law says I have it. The thing is people don't understand their numbers. And I'm going to have a challenge for you all here later on when I wrap up my section. But people don't understand their numbers on their auto policy. And again, that's what we're here to be able to help you understand that. And then the third one is a catastrophe. So, something really big happens. It's on the news for days and days and days. Social media is just kind of going over and over. I mean, think about the tornadoes that went down through North Dallas about a year and a half ago. The tornadoes up in Oklahoma. They see that and say, oh my God, I got to have something out here. So, these are really kind of 3 big reasons why, putting yourself in the customer's head, why they think they need insurance. What's interesting though is here in Texas, the last numbers we had were from 2019. We had about 64,000 claims. 80% of that was due to wind, hail, and water damage. So, making sure you have those coverages, particularly here in North Texas, is going to be really important. I'm going to share a couple ideas and some things to think about as well. And we're here to help you if you want us to review things for you as well. So, now, one thing too here, I just want to make sure I get this here, but I wanted to kind of go over kind of our goals, our agency here. What we want to do is we want to make sure that you have proper coverage. That's kind of number one. The second thing is we also want to make sure you have the discounts you deserve. We have a lot of different discounts, so we can help keep that price down because we do understand, that is important to people as well. But the other two of the other more important things that we want is we want to make sure you understand your insurance. So when you come in and you meet with me, you meet with Shelby, you meet with my other agents, we want to make sure, even if we don't do anything for you, that you're walking out with a better understanding of your program. And that's very important to us. And that's what I try to instill into everyone because, sometimes we just can't help you out. If we can help you out to understand it a little bit better, maybe go back to your other agent and ask those questions to make sure you have that proper coverage. That's really important to me. And then the last thing is we want to be here to help you when something does happen, because things do happen, the claims are made. We want to make sure that you have someone that you can go to say, hey, this is what happened. What do I do? And why this is really important is because whenever you file a claim, that goes on to a record. And that's a record that the insurance companies can all access when it comes time to run quotes, particularly if you're looking for to move companies out there. We can kind of see what type of claims that you've had, even if you sometimes, particularly with like Geico and Progressive, these companies that you do online that you have an 800 number to call. If you're calling in and saying, hey, I might have hail damage, what should I do? a lot of times they just check it off that, hey, here's a claim. It doesn't go anywhere. We call it a zero claim. But what ends up happening is that's on your record now. And how does that impact you? Well, it impacts you two ways. One, it can impact your renewal rates at that company going forward, particularly if you have a lot of those kind of what do I do type deal. But two, it can impact you whether or not you can move it to another company and what those prices might be as well. And people don't realize that. And so, a lot of times, if the hail comes through, they'll just call up the insurance company, or they might even call their agent. They say, just call our back office. Guess what? I'm just inquiring. What do I do? Well, guess what? A lot of times they're going to put that down as a claim and it doesn't go anywhere. And then maybe 3 or 4 months later, you decide, yeah, I do need to get my roof done. And guess what? Now you got 2 claims on there. And that's how this can impact you out there. So, we're here to sit there and say, hey, what do I do? I was in an accident, or we had a storm come through. What do we do? And that's what we're here to help you on that end as well. So now let me give you some examples here. So I want to, talk about a few things that, we feel is important in our agency based on the type of policy you have. So I'm not going to go over all these different types of policies, but one of the ones I want to talk about is your homeowner's policy. Okay. So when you take a look at homeowners, there's really 3 or 4 main key areas that people are, really don't understand. The first one is, probably our biggest claims that we have here in North Texas is hail. I got to get a new roof. Or maybe I got to get a new roof and fence. The fence is blowing down. Well, when it comes to how we handle that, you have 2 different ways that the claims are handled. One's called replacement value, and the other one's called actual cash value. So what replacement value says is, guess what? If your roof's going to cost $20,000 to fix, you have I'm just going to make some numbers up, a $5,000 deductible. We're going to pay $15,000 to make sure that roof's taken care of. Same with your fence. If these fences can be what, $10,000, $15,000 plus. The whole fence is destroyed. Whatever the fence value is to replace it, minus your deductible, that's what we're going to help you with. But you have what's called actual cash value, which factors in the depreciation of that roof or that fence. So that roof's $20,000. You have a $5,000 deductible, but guess what? We're going to reduce that by the depreciation, another $5,000 or $7,000. Guess who has to come up with that? You got to come up with that. And a lot of people don't understand. They sit there and say, oh, geez, your policy's so much more. Well, that's because we want to make sure you have that replacement cost. Do you have that where you're at right now? I have no idea. You know what? A lot of companies will write it as actual cash value. And sometimes they have to, depending on the age of the roof. We have a little bit more leeway along that line. But that's just kind of one of the things you got to catch, particularly when you're looking at, one of the biggest issues that we face. The other big issue is just general water damage. And there's 4 areas I want to go over here just real quickly. One is hail. Now, hail, goes in, hits your house and, let's say it damages, it goes through the roof, it goes, through a skylight or something along that line, and the rain comes in. Guess what? Your base policy covers that. But we know in these rainstorms we get up here in North Texas, a lot of it's wind blowing. I mean, it's just the wind's just blowing in all different directions out there. Well, guess what? If that water gets into your home through, the soffits in your attic, maybe your skylight wasn't sealed properly and the water leaks in that way and goes down the wall and then ruins the floors. Guess what? That's considered windblown rain. And that's not covered in a base policy pretty much in any company out there. Now we have an endorsement that we always add. We call it additional water to make sure that is covered. We want to make sure that that's covered out there. Question is if you look at your policy, do you have that out there? A lot of people don't know. They don't even know to ask that question until it happens. And then all of a sudden the surprise is, guess what? You're not covered. So, we want to make sure that you're taken care of along that line. A third one on water is backup coverage. Shelby and I were talking about this because the city's doing work in her neighborhood right now. Well, they're out there replacing the lines. And let's say, they're not done, a big storm comes through and the lines back up, the sewer lines, and it goes back up into your house. Who's responsible for that? The city is not. And just about no city is going to claim responsibility for that. Well, guess what? If you don't have coverage for a backup, you're not going to get that taken care of by your insurance company either. So, again, we have an optional feature that we could add to make sure that you have that coverage out there. Doesn't happen very often, but when it does, it's just horrible. So
is that why in Silverado, for example, they're having the backflow tested? They've got to have it done regularly. Have y'all heard about that?
In the city of Aubrey, I think we do it every year, because the bank has to do that, so every year they have it signed off by the fire department or whatever.
Yeah, if you have a sprinkler system that's installed, either the builders installed it, that's why you have to have that flow tested.
Because in Providence, we've never had it tested.
We can barely hear you online.
Yeah, I got to speak up. So they were just talking about Silverado and having to have the water backup tested and all that. And so, that's probably because they want to make sure that is working to try to prevent, something like that happening. So.
Well, we're going to have to, I mean, I know we're at time, but man, this is like, I feel like we could totally, we need a part 2.
I thought you were giving me 40 minutes.
Sorry.
No, Denise told me, well, here, real quickly then, let me just go over a couple other things just real quickly then. When you talk about your auto, really auto is broken into 3 sections. There's protection for the other person in case you're in an accident, that's liability. There's protection for you in case you are hit and the other person doesn't have insurance. That's called uninsured or underinsured motorist. And then there's protection for your car. That's where you have the comp collision and a few other things along that line. We talked about an umbrella real quick. And then just real quickly, I'll wrap up on one other one, and that's on the business. I know we're a lot of business owners out there. We have tremendous solutions. We're very competitive in a lot of different areas. But one thing I want to just emphasize, so if you do have, if you're a business owner or business owners, having a workers' comp policy, if they have employees, is going to be vital to have. It doesn't cost very much, but it's not required in Texas. But the key here is that if something were to happen to one of your employees and you don't have a workers' comp, you're legally liable, and they can take you through the courts to sue you to make sure that all the medical bills are taken care of. Your income is continued, and more importantly, you can be sued for pain and suffering. If you have a workers' comp policy, the laws protect you along that line. In most instances, I mean, if you're derelict in what how you keep your business, that's a different thing. But again, for most instances, they will keep that for you. They'll protect you along that line. So here's what I'll do, Carrie. Again, I thought I had a lot more time, and so, but I really appreciate it. But here's what I'd like to do, guys, is I'd like to just challenge you on 2 things and have kind of 2 asks along that line. So the first is, I'd like you all to just, this weekend, if you have time, pull out your policies, take a look at them. For some of y'all, it might be the first time you looked at it in a long time, but we'd be more than happy to review them with you. No obligation along that line, and just kind of, see what you have. And I always tell my friends, if we do a review, there's 3 things we can look at. 1, we can make sure you have the proper coverage. 2, we might be able to save you a little bit of money. Or 3, if we can't, we can tell you, you know what, you got pretty good coverage where you're at right now. You need to stay where you're at. So, I mean, that's my pledge to everyone as well. And the second thing is, I like that. Don't keep us a secret. We'd love referrals. We'd love to help your family, your friends, and business owners out there. So I'm sorry I went longer, Carrie, and I guess Denise doesn't get her time, but I just really appreciate it. I thought I had a lot more time. So, but anything we can do to help you out, just let us know.
Thank you, Brad. That was wonderful. And as a matter of fact, we will, if you guys promise to host another trivia, we'll let you keep going on this. But thank you. And I'm sure several of us probably have a lot of questions, and I actually have some about the life insurance. So I actually would like to continue to deep dive into your world, because this is actually really useful information that I think every one of us can explore. So thank you, Brad.
Oh, thank you.
And yes, Denise, we'll get with you later. Oh, I know. Sorry about that. And sorry for the misunderstanding. I didn't realize the COVID project would be so interesting. And so it ate up your time. So sorry about that.
No problem. So I don't know how to get off here.
Oh, you're good. You're off.
But,
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jeff, for helping organize all this too. And really appreciate it. All right. So Brad, if you could take us out by reading the 4-way test, and it's really just kind of reading it out. So starting with the 4-way test, and then you say number 1, and then we answer, and you say number 2, and we answer, and so forth. Okay. So go ahead and take us home.
All right. 4-way test of the things we think, say, or do. Do we got to put our hands over our heart like Carlos is doing? Okay. So 1, Is it the truth? 2, is it fair to all concerned? 3, will it build
goodwill and better friendships?
And 4,
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
And the last one, have
Have
some
some
fun.
fun.
All right, ding us out. There we go. Thank you, everybody. Make it a great weekend. Talk to you later.
Great day.
Thanks, bye.